You're listening to the Fantasy Wildcard Podcast.
Oh, yes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fantasy Wildcard Dynasty Show with our traditional opening dance set by the queen of Dynasty Fantasy Football herself, Hannah Rowland, on the Wildcard Rewind show. It's good to be back. I am Mags. I've been away for a little while, but it is great to see everybody again. We have got a very special guest on today, but first, let me introduce you to my two amazing co-hosts. First up, we've got Ali, who you can follow on X at FF Dynasty Grill. Ali, mate, how are you?
Yeah, really good. Thank you, Mags. I am absolutely pumped for tonight. Love the little dance at the start of the show, and we got some football back this week. Sort of. Last week it was the Hall of Fame game, which was quite entertaining, I guess. And then preseason starts this week. So I mean, it's incredibly exciting, and couldn't be more excited for our guest tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And also we got Kev at Dynasty_Go. Kev, good to see you again, mate. How are you?
It's lovely to see you, Mags. Welcome back. And we've got an absolute cracking show. We've got the band together. We've got the best one from Wildcard Rewind as well. I think when we think about tonight's show, it's inspired by a recent show we had on Fantasy Wildcard Rewind. So all I'm going to say is I'm really looking forward to tonight's show.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely. And making up the fourth horseman of the four horsemen of the wild card here. We've got Paul Picken. You can find him on X at Paul_Picken. You know him. He's the co-host of the Fantasy Wildcard Rewind show. He is a writer at 5 Yard Rush. He is the commissioner of the Dynasty Champions League. And he is the man who came dead last in the JTT Cup just last year. It's Paul Picken. Paul, welcome to the show. How are you?
Mags, you were doing so good, and then you said I came last year, and it wasn't. It was the year before that. So close, mate. So close. Damn, yeah. It's awesome to be here. It's awesome to be with you guys. I'm so looking forward to it, and I know nobody else said it, so I'm going to say, Mags, congratulations, mate. While you're on holiday, you got engaged to your lovely other half. So I'm really happy for you, mate.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been an amazing couple of weeks over in Italy. But yeah, we're back ready to get great. There's nothing more that my fiance loves than me doing a Dynasty Fantasy Football podcast every week. Like she, so and this one's for her. So like Kev may have teased, we're going to take a page out of the Rewind playbook, and we're going to bring up what we called the Wheel of Death. So we're going to pull it up now. And Paul, as the guest, you've got the honor of playing a little word association with us. We're going to spin this wheel, and a word is going to come up. Maybe a phrase will come up, and it's going to be linked to a question. You're going to have to give us your instant reaction to whatever that is. You ready to go?
No.
Well, tough, because
I'm not even going to lie. I'm not ready. I asked Kev weeks ago. I said, "Can I have the show sheet, mate, so I can work on answers?" And he went, "No, we're going to put you on the spot." So here we go.
Here we go, indeed. We're getting ready to spin that wheel. So here we go, right?
Spin that wheel.
Wow. And the first question you're going to get, that's going to be asked by me. And the association is Kim Kanye. So, as we know, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West famously split up. And what fantasy player do you think needs to change up their situation, maybe divorce their team to improve their stock?
Oh my God! Wow, thanks, Kev. You've really thrown me under the bus here. Okay, so I will go with somebody that's been in the recent news, and I will say the person that needs to separate from his team is Jonathan Taylor, and I think he needs to. There's bad blood in Indy now. He needs to get out of that team, and he needs to go to a different team. I'm not going to try and say where, because he could end up anywhere, and I just think he needs to get away from that team now. What do you guys think? Do you agree, Mags?
I mean, obviously he's a running back that's one of the traded, so he's been linked to my Chiefs. But I think Jonathan Taylor, I think he'll be fine no matter where he goes. Actually, I don't know if he's maybe the perfect example. I think he'll be kind of the number one guy no matter where he went. But yeah, I could see maybe an improvement if he did leave the Colts. Kev, what do you think?
I think if Jonathan Taylor stays in Indy, it's potentially going down a Nick Chubb route where obviously he's not going to get features much in the pass game now. But as a runner, he's going to look immense with that dual threat QB in Anthony Richardson. I think him moving, it could be potentially good for his value if he's getting some of those receptions we know he can handle. So I actually think it's a pretty good shout. I think any of the running backs that have got these disputes, a lot of them fit this criteria. So great start to show, Paul. You've fought fast on your feet and you've nailed it.
Ali, any closing remarks before we spin again?
I think the most obvious one for me is Trey Lance. I think he's desperate to get out of San Francisco. Yeah. I mean, I think he can be a starting quarterback on 6, maybe 5-6 teams, including my team, and his fantasy value will skyrocket. So let's get him out of San Francisco.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, mate. So let's remove Kim and Kanye from the wheel, and let's get ready to spin that wheel again. Let's go. So what have we got this time? Oh, we got a question from Kev, and this word for you, Paul, is regret.
So, Paul, do you need a bit of help on this?
No, let's go. Where we go with this, we could end up anywhere. But my answer is going to be DeAndre Hopkins. Go on. What's the question?
I mean, that you've given your answer before I've asked the question. So you've the question was going to be a player who's moved this off season, whose dynasty value sinks after moving teams. So
I take it back. I think his dynasty value has gone up a little bit by going to the Titans. The QB playing Arizona. I regret him leaving Arizona as an Arizona fan, but dynasty-wise, I think his value has increased. So I'd say that he hasn't lost any value there. Somebody that's moved this year, that's dynasty value has dropped. It would have to be, I know he hasn't signed anywhere yet, but it'd have to be Dalvin Cook. I just think his value drops wherever he ends up now. I think his dynasty value's dropped. Or, see, you throw me on the spot here, people that are leaving. Kareem Hunt, I think his value's sunk as well in that New Orleans Saints running back room. Yeah, it's just people are not going to want to touch any one of them anymore. So I know they're really bad examples, but I can't think of anyone else who's moved that I think is a regret.
Yeah, I think my one on this was going a little bit under the radar, I guess, is Mike Gesicki. I think he could have landed in a lot of interesting, enticing spots for a guy with his size, speed, etc. Detroit before, obviously, Sam Laporta. But yeah, for him to land on the Patriots is a bit of a kick in the corner. So Mike Gesicki was a regret for me. What about you, boys?
Yeah, my one was sort of similar to your the landing spot. I was thinking, Juju Smith-Schuster going from the Chiefs, probably your best passer in the league, to Mac Jones and the Patriots, which is where wide receivers go to die, as we know. So yeah, that's a pretty regretful one for Juju's fantasy. Well, what was left of his fantasy value anyway. Ali, what were you thinking?
Yeah, you just stole mine. It would be probably Juju. I see a path to volume, but I mean, is there going to be much there in New England? I'm not sure what it's going to look like. It's probably going to be the one, but not going to look spectacular. So I think his value is going to stay where it is or possibly drop.
Yeah, I think so. So let's remove regret from the wheel and let's get ready to spin again and see what we end up with. And hey, we're back to me again. So this one is the waiver wire wonder. And, this is something we have every single year, Paul. Who is this year's Mike Davis, Elijah Mitchell, Cordero Patterson, Devonta Foreman? Those guys that nobody has on their team, and you pick them up later in the year, and they end up being, running back one or close to it, and an absolute superstar and such great value.
Do you know what? It's really tough to answer that now because it's a stab in the dark. But I will say there's two. Can I give two answers? I've got two answers.
Yes.
Okay, one is going to be the answer that Mags you've put me in this direction. That's Dwayne McBride, and you know, self-explanatory. He's a running back. He's at the Vikings. We're not sure if Alexander Mattison is going to be the main guy. The thoughts are he is going to be, but we'll see. But the other one I want to give is Tank Bigsby for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I just think I'm not fully committed to ETN at the moment. And I'm just thinking that Tank Bigsby is actually going to play quite a good role in this offense. And we all know ETN's he's a bit hit and miss sometimes. So I think if Tank Bigsby can come in, I think he could be somebody that week one you may find he's the waiver wire guy that everyone's after.
Yeah, I think you might be spot on. Ali, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Similar to what Paul said, I'll go the other running back in Ty Chandler for the Vikings.
Yeah,
I think he's going to get a role regardless of what happens. Whether they sign a veteran or they're not going to get Kareem Hunt now, I'm not sure. But I'll go Ty Chandler just at his price. I think he's going to have a role there. I don't think Mattison can carry the load, so he could be the number 2.
Yep. Kev, anyone standing out for you as a potential waiver wire wonder?
I mean, yeah, it's got to be a running back, hasn't it? So, I think going super deep, one guy I've always been in on that hopefully he gets a chance this offseason as a running back 3 on his team with a running back 1 who's coming back from an injury is Tyler Beatty of the Broncos. I think it would be nice to see him get some snaps. But if it's not him, because obviously he might not make the team, I'm going to throw another dart there and say Tony Jones of the Broncos if he makes that roster. Obviously played for the Saints. Doesn't mean anything because Sean Payton wasn't there when he was there, but I just think anytime Sean Payton's sniffing around one of these unheralded guys, think about like Pierre Thomas, Travaris Cadet back in the day, it's worth taking a note. So, yeah, I think that Denver backfield, the running back 3 to ends up being will be potential waiver wire wonder. So, Tyler Beatty for me.
Love that.
Yeah, I think those are great picks. It could even be a repeat. Could be Cordero Patterson again. Could be Todd Foreman again. You never know with these guys. So yeah, waiver wire wonder sure to come up. It's a bit of a lottery, but yeah, I think you're right, Kev. It's sure to be a running back more so than anything else. So let's clear that out and let's spin the wheel again. Paul holding up great under pressure so far, but can you handle the next one, Matt? Which is just the word mid.
Wow.
Yeah. So this one is pretty simple, Paul. It's the Dynasty player that everybody raves about, but really they're just mid. They're just fine. They're never going to break out, but people rate this player higher than they should. So, Paul, who is that player?
Oh, wow. Do you know, you guys have always got great answers because you've seen this and you know what's what. Right, somebody who I think's mid. I'm trying to think of players that I think, oh, they're great, and everyone just basically says, no, they're really shit. Okay, I'm going to go with my own team here, and I'm going to say Rondale Moore. And I drafted so much Rondale Moore, and I'm such a believer that he's going to be. So that's maybe me because I hold so many shares in him, but I think he's. I'm always praying that he's going to be something, and like every week I'm sort of like, oh, he just, So I just think, and a few people have like said to me before, like, stop drafting Rondale Moore. Like you've got a sickness, like, So for me, he's the guy that I'd say he's quite mid. Like I draft a lot of him, and he's not as good as he should be.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out a spicy one. I'll say Drake London. How about that?
Wow.
I'm like, show me. What was he wide receiver like 40 last year? No, he wasn't that good, right? So yeah, show me up, Drake. If you can come out this year and kind of show me a bit more, then yeah, I'll change my mind. But so far, not show me that for for fantasy football anyway. But let's
high
go,
drop
Kev. Who was your answer? Yeah,
I mean, it's the one and only Kenny Pickett, isn't it? The guy that is just getting pumped up, and he is nothing, honestly. Like, he had such a good situation last year, did very little with it. Worse rookie season than Zach Wilson. We know that the MILF Hunter is doing his thing now. So, Kenny Pickett for me, someone that is mid. He's going to get found out eventually. So, get off the Pickett.
Is that like throwing up in somebody's mouth? Is that the video that you put up?
He's awful.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think you'll have anyone forming a picket line for that pick. Absolutely not. And Ali, Ali, who was your pick for your own question?
Well, if it wasn't going to be Kenny Pickett, it's got to be James Cook for me. Someone that it's completely overrated, and now apparently he's elite now that Devin Singletary's gone. But Damian Harris has now arrived and is the better back than James Cook. Yeah. But we'll say the Dynasty players are getting a bit smarter because his ADP's actually dropped to, I think it's about running back 30 or 32. So that's not too bad actually. That's where I'm becoming back in, but he doesn't excite me. He's not big enough to carry the load, and Josh Allen's a running back one there. Who the goal line carries will go to Josh Allen or Damian Harris. So it leaves targets, and the Bills don't target the running back position. So don't see the upside with James Cook. He is mid,
absolutely. So let's remove mid off the wheel. Spin that wheel one more time, and hey, we got a question for you now from Kev. Paul, it is injury bound. Kev, what's the question for Paul?
This is nasty, this one, because you're going to upset some people here, Paul. So I want to know which Dynasty player you're predicting to get injured in 2023.
Oh, fuck.
And you have been known to put the kiss of death on people previously, so
Okay. So I feel like I want to bring the fire, and I feel like I need to get it back on that traitor on this show. So I'm going to say Travis Kelce.
Oh, wow!
I applaud you.
And I have so much Travis Kelce, so I hope it doesn't happen. But thanks in your face.
Well, luckily on our last show, you're notorious for getting things wrong, so I'm hoping that'll carry through. You won't smash this one. It's a hard one, right? With injury records and everything. I think. I mean, Raheem Mostert's always a good candidate. We've seen J.K. Dobbins is usually a good candidate, but you never really know. Hopefully everybody stays healthy, and hopefully the answer's not Tua, because that would be a little bit scary. Yeah. Anyone standing out for you guys, Kev? Let's pitch it to you first.
Yeah, Bijan Robinson. I think not ready to serve people right, take him into the round one of Dynasty startups, but I just feel like if he does get injured and it's a bad injury like Brees Hall-esque, I think it's gonna be a massive talking point, and it's gonna create a lot of trades in your league. So not that I want it to happen, you don't want to see injuries, but Bijan would be a mega one, plus he plays running back.
Yeah, exactly. Ali, anyone you're thinking might end up on IR?
Yeah, I think you've got to go running back, especially what happened last season. There were so many injuries. I'm going to go Travis Etienne, and I think he's going to go down. And that's tank time. Tank Bigsby's going to come and take it over. The videos of him are looking absolutely great. A guy that size shouldn't move that fast. He can do it all. So, he can step into that RB1 role and do it handsomely. So, I'll go Etienne.
Ooh, let's see what happens then with some injury bound players. There's some of them. We've probably named one of them right there, just the way the NFL works. So we'll have to wait and see. But let's spend one more time. Sorry, Paul, what were you saying?
Hopefully not Bijan.
Hopefully not Bijan. I've got a question up again. This is nut allergy. Wow. Paul, I think you maybe already answered this earlier, but see if you can name another player. What player that you know is bad for you, and yet you can't stop drafting them? Just like if you've got an allergy to peanuts, but goddamn, you just can't put the bag down. You keep munching away at them. So who's that for your dynasty team?
So I'm not going to go with Rondale Moore, and I'm not going to go with Dwayne McBride because I've already mentioned these two. It's Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
I do not pick good players, do I really? You know what I mean? There's a bit of a theme coming here. No, it was my flag plant last year, and I've drafted a lot of him, so I'll stick with my guy, Brian Robinson. You know, and the thing is, he doesn't necessarily have a role, and there's always that competition with Antonio Gibson, so I probably should rein it in a little bit. But I get to them later rounds and I just see his name there, and I'm just it's like a moth to a flame, you know. I'm just like, ooh, Brian Robinson's here, gonna have him. I think I took him in the FFC draft that me and you were in, Ali, didn't I? I think I got him there. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I gotta smash that, you know. So yeah, live and die on the sword, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. Ali, who's your nut allergy? Someone you know it's bad for you, but you just can't help yourself.
Mine is Jameson Williams, a guy that is obviously not going to be on the field for the first 6 games of the season. Absolutely loved him as a rookie, but the reports of him fighting with his teammates or just not showing up and not balling out of practice. So it's not a great sign. I think the head coach said he's got a lot of growing to do or something like that. So it's not a great start to the season for Jameson Williams, but I just feel like he keeps dropping to a really nice place where I keep drafting him. And I won't learn because I just think he's going to come on the field and just be an absolute baller, but it probably won't turn out that way. So I should really pull the brakes on it a little bit.
And Kev, which Carolina Panthers wide receiver have you chosen?
I have gone the wide receiver route. I think it is a guy whose name's come up before on the show, Juju, and also Jacoby Myers. I think 2 guys who've gone from better situations to potentially worse situations. But I think where they're going in drafts, they're technically a value, but I think they're a value for a reason that people are fading them. So yeah, maybe I'm just a little bit too optimistic on those guys.
Yeah, maybe, but we never know. There's still hope, right? You all draft these guys thinking maybe one day. So maybe this is Brian Robinson's year, Paul. You never know. Let's take that off the wheel though, and let's spin it again and see what comes up. And hey, Kev, we're back to you, and the word for you, Paul, is value. So Kev, what's Paul going to be answering?
It's just a really simple one, Paul, isn't it? When you think of the term value, it's the player in Dynasty who you think is the most value. Obviously, not your wildcard selection. We don't need that yet.
I'm glad you stopped me because I was gonna name him as well. I was gonna be like, wow. So who do I think is great value? Do you know what? It's really hard to look past in like Superflex Anthony Richardson at the moment. It's really difficult to look past him. I think he's somebody that he has that ability to be somebody that kind of breaks into that top 5 dynasty QB area, and I think at the moment he's going. I think he's around 11 or 12, isn't he? Like QB 11 or 12. And I think if you could pick him up now at that value, I think next year, you know, if you could flip that on its head next year, I think the value you get from next year is going to be insane if he does what he does, you know. Yeah. So I think that for me is a value pick right there.
Good answer.
Yeah, agreed as well. Kev, you agree as well? What would your answer be?
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, Paul. I think guy that springs to mind for me, Jahmyr Gibbs, going sort of running back, might be valued running back 5 or 6 at Keep Trade Cut, but I see him go later than that in most of the startups I've done this offseason. I've got him as a running back 2. I'm trying to get ahead of the game. I think he's going to have a great rookie season, and he'll be minimum top 3 next offseason. So I think he is a value where he's going.
Yeah, completely agree. Ali, who's your value player?
Mine's maybe a bit of a cop-out because I did tweet about him earlier, but it's Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver 22 on Keep Trade Cut. He's only just turned 24 years old. Obviously, Sean Payton coming over to be in charge of the offense. And wide receiver 5 from week 11 from last season. I think Russell Wilson's got to start cooking sometime sooner or later, and he's the undeniable wide receiver 1. So wide receiver 22, I think there's definitely some value there.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of you. Well, yeah, you just mentioned him. I think Russell Wilson might be a bit of a value. We spoke about him a lot last year, obviously, and he's got a much better coaching situation going on right now, and seems to be just like, in better shape and ready for the season, ready to prove people wrong. The last time, he had a sort of down year, he came back and he was, QB1 overall in fantasy football the year after. So maybe could be an interesting bounce back for us. So he could be a decent value. But let's take value off the board. And you got a few left still, Paul. So let's begin. We're round to Ali, and this one is all in. So Ali, what's your question for Paul?
Well, I'm not sure you can work this one out, Paul, but it's the player that you are all in on in Dynasty. Shock horror.
I don't know. I'm running out of players now. Players that I'm drafting, who am I all in on? To be honest, so I'll look at like rookie drafts that I've done this year, and somebody that I've got. This probably doesn't sound really good for me, but somebody I've got quite a lot of is Bijan Robinson, and I had a lot of the first round picks, so. I'd say that there's a lot. Apart from the Hatchetman League, that was the only draft where I had the one pick and I didn't go for Bijan. So I'd have to say him, but I know that's a bit of a cop-out pick, but you threw me on the spot, so I'm going to go with it.
Yeah. Ali, what's the answer to your own question, and who are you all in on?
I mean, I'm going to be a bit... I'm going to be a homer, but it isn't Baker. It's going to be Rashad White. It's got to be Rashad White. Just the volume is going to be insane for Rashad White. He's got Keyshawn Vaughn as running back 2, and Keyshawn Vaughn is not a good running back. You've also got Chase Edmonds, again, not a good running back. You've got Sean Tucker, who's got some heart condition, but hopefully that's cleared up because I hope he can be the RB2, but he's just going to catch an insane amount of passes. A lot of people are saying, well, he's not got Tom Brady who just dumps it off all the time. Well, actually, we were only 15th in the NFL in running back targets last year. So we weren't funneling all our passes through the running backs. And then you had Leonard Fournette there last year as well. You've taken away all of his targets. Rashad White had 50-odd targets last year as a rookie, as planned as the RB2. So he's going to get close to 100 targets this year and just going to be, even if he's not a good running back, it's going to be like that Najee Harris where he just has so much volume that he's just going to be close to an RB1 just through that alone. So if he can be decent and he's put on some muscle and looks really good in camp, then why not? He can be sort of a fringe RB1 possibly. And he's been drafted at a low RB2 or even lower. So really like his value. So yeah, I've got to be all in just because I'm a bit of a homer.
Kev, are you following suit? You picking an Eagles player for yours, or are you going elsewhere?
I am actually. Yes, I'm going to go DeAndre Swift. I think it wasn't the best landing spot out there when he moved. There could have been a lot better landing spots, but I do think the Eagles playing from behind a lot on a tough schedule this offseason. And actually, Jalen Hurts, the runner, has been paid the bag. I don't see him running as much. And actually, from the pocket last season, he was absolutely incredible when you look at the numbers. So I think Swift could be sneaky. If Miles Sanders was top 15 last season, I think Swift can be a running back 1. So yeah, he's my all in.
Yeah, mine would be my most owned player in Dynasty. It's J.K. Dobbins. I think I've got a 65% exposure to J.K. Dobbins. He's been incredibly unlucky with the injuries. Still averages 6 yards a carry. Still does incredibly well when he's on the field. Yeah, he just needs that healthy runner form, and yeah, I've been able to pick him up for super, super cheap throughout the different injuries. So hopefully, he'll get things together this year, and going all in will pay off for me. So we'll have to see, right? So we'll take all in off, and we got a few more left in the wheel for you, Paul. Coming up, I'm sure you can fit this out as well. It's on the block, Ali. What do you got for Paul?
Right, on the block. So again, I'm going really complicated here, Paul. Who is the player that you are desperately trying to sell in Dynasty right now? Who's the guy that you're firing on the trade block and you're saying, right, I'm accepting offers for this guy because I want him off my roster because I'm worried about his Dynasty value?
Ooh. Next year when we do this, Kev, can you let me know the questions first? So somebody. Okay, I'm going to bring a bit of heat with this one again, and I like him for this year. I don't know how I like him moving forward, and that's Tony Pollard.
Okay.
I think he's going to have a phenomenal year this year, and he's been destined to have a bigger role for a couple of years now. And I just feel that they may run him into the ground this year. And I believe he's only playing on the tag this year as well, isn't he? Mm-hmm. If I'm right. So he's only got like a 1-year deal. And then if he's begging for big money and they've been burnt, the Cowboys have been burnt before with Zeke by giving him a big contract that I don't know. I worry where he's going to be in 2 years' time. So he'd be somebody that I'd be quite happy to sell because I feel like you're selling him at his peak right now. If we've seen it with so many players before. If he doesn't have the season that everyone wants him to have, I think he's going as a top 10 running back. I'm not sure how high up he is on the ADP at the moment, but if he doesn't have that top 10 sort of season, I think he could fall really like into the teens, maybe even the high teens next year, and it's somebody that at the moment you could probably sell for a high value. So he'd be somebody for me.
Yeah, mine's very similar vein of your thinking there, Paul. For me, the first name that came to mind was Josh Jacobs. I just think he's at his peak. You're selling him right now at the highest his value is ever going to be. So if you're going to try and get rid of him, now's the time to definitely get rid of someone like Josh Jacobs or Tony Pollard for sure. And Kev, is anyone standing out for you for this answer on the block?
I think it's a great question. I'm going to say Dallas Goedert of the Eagles. I just think when you're the third as a tight end, if you're the third person in the offense, it's really difficult to make a top 3 season. So I guess if you try and win ships, I don't think having Goddard is the key. I do think there'll be some buzz around Hurts in the pass volume, so there will be opportunities to get off him, but try putting him on the block now. I don't think people are going to buy it because he's not quite shown what he can be yet, but I'm hoping that there is opportunities because I've got a lot of Goddard.
Yeah. And Ali, who was the answer to your own word association question?
Well, it was going to be Travis Etienne, but I've already picked him for the injury one, and I like Tank Bigsby taking some of his role. And the fact that a lot of people associate Etienne with being the pass catcher and running back, but he doesn't actually catch a ton of passes, to be honest. And I think Bigsby can take that role away. So the other one would probably be Najee Harris again. For the backup running back there, I think can come in, looks fantastic, and take some of the role this year and going forward. I don't think Najee Harris is an amazing running back. Again, it's a similar vein, really. I'd rather sell a year too early than a year too late. If in a year's time the role is more towards 50-50, then I think you're too late selling him. So a bit like Josh Jacobs, a bit like Tony Pollard. If you're not competing, now is the time to sell them perhaps a year too early and get perhaps peak value now, because we've seen with the running back, their value drops right off a cliff if situation changes for them. So I'd rather sell now. So they're all great shouts, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those are all names that you should be considering putting up on the block for sure. And hey, we got 6 left for you, Paul. So strap in because these are the 6 hardest ones. And hey, look at this, my favorite one of all. So, Paul Picken, you may have noticed like your own name has appeared here on the word association game. So, Paul, can you please tell me who is somebody that is part of an incredibly strong team that carries them to all their success?
Howling. Help.
Kyler Murray. Oh, Mags, I hate you. Somebody that carries their own team to success. Can I say Mags? Can I say you? Carries to success. No, being real. Somebody that carries their team to success. That's the question. Yeah?
No,
it's who is being carried by their team.
But Paul Picken.
I was laughing too much. I didn't really hear what you were saying. Who's being carried by their team? Can I say Sky Moore?
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
I could say.
You know, any Chiefs that's not named Travis Kelce or Pat Mahomes, that they keep getting these rings and they're not really doing much, are they? To be honest, so I'm sticking with Sky Moore, Moore, or Kadarius Toney.
Like that.
John, who's injured again. Kev, anyone stand out for you for the Paul Picken, who's being absolutely carried by everyone around them?
Yeah, going to go for a system QB. Brock Purdy.
No.
I'm so glad you said that.
Brock Picken.
Brock Picken. Can you smell
Shocking answer.
Ali, not agree. You're not agreeing because he stole yours, or you're completely disagreeing?
No, I would never say anything negative about my Brock Purdy. No way. He's not being carried. He is carrying Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk. No, I can see why I said it. My answer is going to be pretty similar, and it's actually a guy that I really like for Dynasty. But in the similar mold, I'm going for Tua, and I just think take away Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. How much are we really rating Tua in Dynasty if he had Juju and Devontae Parker as his number one and number two wide receivers? I think you're going to struggle. So I'm going to pick Tua because of them fantastic weapons that he's got.
Could you say the same for Brock Purdy if you take away the offensive line?
No. Don't you dare.
The one it's maybe less relevant now because he's getting on a bit. The one that it speaks about, that guy just being carried by Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Alvin Kamara is always the one that I think of. I think Alvin Kamara, you put him in other teams, as electric as he is on the Saints, and maybe isn't like the best running back out there. I suppose that's why he hasn't really tried to test the free agent market, and we're kind of seeing that with a couple of these free agent running backs in particular now. It's like maybe it is just the system that's been carrying them, and maybe a lot of coaches know that, which is why you got people out there that aren't being snapped up and signed up because they just trust the system to work rather than the player. So some great answers there, team, and we got 5 left to go. So Paul, strap in because Ali's got like only Ali can have, just in case, right?
Yeah, it is my motto. It needs to go on my Twitter bio. But who's the one Dynasty player you want one share of because you don't really believe and you're probably fading him, but there's a little doubt in your mind. Perhaps he could just break out and be a stud. So who's that one player you want one share of in Dynasty, just in case that he breaks out?
It's Kayshon Boutte.
Nice.
That's a good answer. I really like that.
And that is he was hyped up as a rookie, and then there was all this shit going on, and everything dropped, and his value dropped, and everything like that. But he's still a good wide receiver. If Belichick can get him on the right path, the path to righteousness, then he'll sort himself out, and then he'll get away from Mac Jones and the New England Patriots and end up with a decent team and be a decent wide receiver, which we know he actually can be. So he's the guy just in case.
Yeah, off of the quest for booty onto the path of righteousness. Love it. Yeah, absolutely smashing it.
Hashtag show name.
For me, it's a lot of these like kind of tight ends are in like the weird kind of tight end mush, like in between. Someone like an Herb Smith Jr., right? Who you're like, hey, he's on the Bengals, he's got a good opportunity. I'll maybe take one, like just in case, but he's probably not going to turn into much, right? Kev, who are you thinking for this one?
Yeah, tight end for me. I'm going to say Dalton Kincaid, which probably gets booze, but I just think price-wise, a little bit spicy for me.
One share.
Just the one share, yeah. I'm not taking any startups. I'm not daft. Rookie drafts, maybe. But yeah, I think Kincaid, if it was anyone else, maybe some guy like Daniel Washington.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that one share, congrats on that league victory. You've locked up with your one share. Ali, who would your answer be for that?
Mine's Rashee Rice. And
okay.
It's because I think that Kansas City is a place you want to stay away from the wide receivers or not invest too much in. But I just think Rashee Rice has got a good rookie profile. He could potentially be the guy that takes over eventually. So, yeah, I'll have one share of Rashee Rice.
Love it. Good picks all around there, guys. Yeah. So we got 4 left. Let's spin around and see. We've got Eternal, and as we discussed pre-show, Paul, you got to sing a verse from Atomic Kitten's Eternal Flame.
Yeah, so won't put the audience through.
I've got my mic ready and everything, you know.
So, Paul, this is the guy, the Dynasty player that's continues to produce in Dynasty. No sign of slowing down despite his age.
So I don't want to say the obvious one and literally go, oh, it's Derrick Henry, even though he's as old as God's dog. But to me, somebody that is quite old and somebody who keeps doing it, and I've said his name already tonight. That's Travis Kelce. You know what I mean? He's just every year you sort of him and Derrick Henry, you could put them in the same category. You go, they're going to slow down this year. They're going to slow down this year, and they don't. You know, and everything you see of Travis Kelce, you think, you know, he's a bit like Tom Brady. He's obviously on the same diet that Tom Brady was on. You think the guy's going to still be going in 2-3 years' time, you know? I know I came on a show last year and it was like, you know, Pitts is average. I'd take Kelce over Pitts, and people were like, what are you on about? Why would you take Kelce, you know, over Pitts? What, you know, Pitts is going to be amazing. And here we are. 2 years down the line, and Kelsey's outscored him both years, you know, and I could see Kelsey doing that again. So for me, Kelsey's that eternal flame.
Love it, yeah. Ali, who's your person that you think of when you hear the word eternal?
The obvious one that came to mind was Devontae Adams. Now that he's 30 years old, and people are still fading him, but he's still top 3 wide receiver every single season, and I just think he's still going to produce the goods with Jimmy G. The other one is, I don't know if he's even old enough yet, is Tyler Lockett. Is he old enough to be, I think he's 29? So I think, he's a guy that people fade and again, just finishes top 15 every single season. So he'd be a guy that, and even this year, everyone's like, JSN is coming in. So Tyler Lockett's not going to be, targeted or anything, but yeah, he's still going to produce this year. So I'll go Lockett.
Nice. Kev, who's standing out for you for this category?
I mean, Kelce was my first pick. Derrick Henry was my second. I think Devontae Adams was my third. So,
and Tyler Lockett was your fourth. Oh well, you'll end up with Saquon Barkley at this point.
My Q just went then. My Q just went. So we've all been there. I think I'll say Austin Eckler, a guy that's 28 I think he's 28 now. He's had 2 amazing last 2 seasons. The cliff might be coming, but as it stands, he's eternal to me.
Yeah, I'm going to go with, Mr. 1,000 yards himself, Mike Evans. Every year, doesn't matter what happens. The guy's just locked in, 1,000 yards. And yeah, you can see it with Baker Trask or whoever. Ali, he's going to do it again. Yeah, so let's remove eternal.
Mags.
Yes.
Mags. quick.
Yes.
Do you think that Mike Evans is going to get 1,000 yards this season with Baker Mayfield? Genuinely.
Yeah.
Yep. We're going to be behind every single game.
Really?
Charity bet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Charity
Okay.
bet,
Right now.
Okay.
If Mike Evans goes over 1,000 yards, straight away I'll donate £10 to Mind Charity. If he's under, then you donate £10,000.
£10,000.
Yeah.
So if he's over 1,000 yards, I'll donate. If he's under 1,000 yards, you'll donate. Yeah.
And if it's exactly 1,000, I'll donate.
Oh, look at that!
How generous, Kev.
Nice. How about for within reason? Let's not go crazy. But for every yard under, I'll donate that amount. For every yard over, you do that amount.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because
All
you're
right,
going to be livid week one when Mike Evans breaks his leg and they go, he's out for the season. I go, Max, get your money out, baby.
Boom.
Shimmy.
No, let's do a £10 for charity. That.
Yeah, and my wife would genuinely murder me if she's seen £100 come out of the account. She'd be like, what are you donating £100 for? Well,
Mike Evans, it's like, let's just spin the wheel before we both end up in trouble, Paul. Let's go to we might end up in trouble anyway because this one is shag, marry, avoid. So, Paul, can you tell me?
No.
A trio of players in a certain, dynasty situation. I want you to tell me a 1-year rental, one cornerstone player, and a player that you are avoiding. But they have to kind of be on the same team. So, for example, you could pick the 49ers quarterbacks, you could pick Chiefs wide receivers. It has to be kind of linked. Does that make sense?
So they've all got to be on the same team. And it's got to be a player that I'm building my team around. A player
so
that
shag, a 1-year rental, the shag. You're just getting it out the way, right? You're hitching to them. They're your cornerstone, and avoid. You're getting rid.
Oh. Okay. Right. Okay. And I'm going to do this about a player that you love, and I want to get him in there. Okay. So I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
And I'm going to shag Stephon Diggs. I'm going to marry Josh Allen. And I'm going to avoid Dalton Kincaid.
Poor Dalton. He's marriage material.
You definitely marry Dalton Kincaid. There's probably so many better answers out there, but that off the cuff, that's probably the best I can come up with.
Okay, well, let's go. Ali, we'll pitch it to you, but we'll say, what are the 49ers quarterbacks? What are you doing with them?
So, I mean, avoid... obviously, I don't know, Mary is going to be... It's shag for this year.
Yeah.
This year only.
Mary is for the future. Avoid is...
Sam Darnold is the avoid.
Yeah.
I'll have to take Brock Purdy for this year and Trey Lance for future years because he's going to get a trade at some point. Mm-hmm. And Brock Purdy's going to be a top 5 quarterback this year, so I'm going to shag him.
Woo! Kev, how about let's go Chiefs wide receivers with yours? Who you shag, marry, avoid for Chiefs wide receivers?
God.
That's like walking into a brothel and going, absolutely none of these, mate, okay? I want somebody with less tread on the tyres.
Yeah.
You know?
Is anybody working in here?
Damn. Wow. I think I'll avoid Justin Ross because that's just a disgrace. Shag.
MVS.
Probably Sky Moore, I think. He's getting a bit hype. I think there'll be a chance to do a dirty and then bin him, and then marry Rashee Rice just for the lols. Yeah. I think he's a big dude. He's got an opportunity on it, so let's marry him.
I reckon you should change your name on Twitter to @Dynasty_Rice.
Can't believe you missed out the opportunity to he could have had the most valuable shagger there, MVS, right? He would have really.
So Max, for you, we're going to go the New Orleans Saints running back room.
Oh, okay. So well, you got to marry the potential future there, right? So, what do you?
Kareem
That's
Hunt.
not a bad idea.
He will beat you if you don't listen.
Kareem Hunt isn't actually signed.
Oh,
I think you shag.
He's visiting the Colts tomorrow.
Well, I'll avoid Kareem Hunt then. How about that? Let's do that because he's not part of the team. And we'll shag Alvin Kamara, and then we'll marry the new guy.
Miller.
What's he called? Kendra Miller. Yeah, that'll do, right? That seems to make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
So let's we got 2 left. So let's spin and see which one you're going to get, Paul. You've got just by a whisker. You've got Bombshell, and Ali is obviously sad that Love is over now, but we've got one more Bombshell for you.
Yeah, so sadly, Love Island is over, as Mag said. But I want to know who is the rookie that's now going to enter the league. He's going to absolutely smash year one. He's going to take all the women, and he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Dalton Kincaid.
I want to say Jordan Addison, but that's stealing your pick, isn't it? It's so. Did you say any rookie that's going to come in and win Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Yep. Who do you think's got a chance?
Oh, whoa. So there's so many that could do this. If Kev has his way and Bijan gets injured, you could probably put Jamar Gibbs in this conversation. But to me, I think it's going to be either Bijan or Anthony Richardson that win that Offensive Rookie of the Year. I love your shout, Ali, with who you want to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. But honestly, I think it's one of them.
Yeah. Ali, would that have been your pick, Jordan Addison?
Yeah, I mean, for an outside bet, I've got to take Jordan Addison. I think he's going to dominate in Adam Thielen's role.
Kev, who's coming to mind for you?
Well, I mean, some great names there. I think I'm going to get spicy and say Quentin Johnston.
Ooh. That was pretty spicy. I'm gonna go with a guy who's going to break the mold for tight ends. He's going to come in and he's going to produce in his first year. Dalton Kincaid's going to be this year's bombshell. So let's take that off. We got one more. We'll spin the wheel anyway. We know what it's going to say. It's going to be fade. So Kev, last one for Paul.
Yeah, Paul, the guy fading in Dynasty, the guy that you never hit draft button on.
Oh. I don't know. I've got so many leagues. I think I've got a share of everyone. Daniel Jones.
Wow.
At value, he's somebody that I don't really want where he's being drafted at the moment. Sorry, Daniel Jones. Sorry, Matt.
Ali, who's your feed? Who's someone you're not paying?
It's George Pickens, a guy that people were a bit upset I left him off my 2024 predicted Dynasty wide receivers. And yeah, people are like, where's George Pickens? Well, he's behind Deontay Johnson where he should be. So he's the guy that I never tend to draft.
Kev, feed.
God,
it's so hard because I'm in 30 leagues, so I think I bet everyone. But Daniel Mooney, someone I don't get.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty sure all the Chiefs wide receivers. They're just it's the Travis Kelce show still. I'm just not taking that gamble on whoever's gonna be the one that pays off. So with that brings us up to Paul. It's your fantasy wildcard selection pick. So which player do you think will get the most value this time next year? It's going to increase the value the most. Who's your wildcard selection?
So I've tried to play the game a little bit here, and I've gone for Kyler Murray.
Homer.
He's a bit of a homer pick, but Kyler Murray was somebody last year that we were all drafting and debating whether he was going to be a top 5 QB and everything like that. and he's had an injury. And I'm not saying he's going to come back and he's going to be, oh yeah, he's going to be Kyler Murray that we all know and love, but he's coming back this season, and they're not going to rush him back. They've got no reason to rush him back. He's going to have another season to sort of let himself heal, get to 100%, and then next season he's going to be that QB that we all know and love. He's got the rushing upside. He's got, he's going to have Marvin. His name's just gone. He's going to have Marvin Harris Jr. there next year, and it's a match made in heaven, And he's just somebody in 12 months' time. We'll all be going, Kyler Murray's going to play the whole year. He's going to bump up maybe 4 or 5 spots straight away just because he's playing next year, And I think people are out on him because he's injured when we all know he is an elite QB.
Yeah, I think that's a great choice, and he'll play really well for the Raiders next year as well, so that'll be great. Ali, what do you think about that?
Atlanta Falcons.
Falcons, actually, that was my one. Yeah, that's who I thought he was going to go to. Ali, what do you think about that? You happy with Kyler Murray as a pick there?
Yeah, I would love to absolutely rinse this pick. I did put a picture of Homer in the show sheet, but I forgot that you can't actually see that. But but it's
joke's on you, mate.
It's a fine pick. I mean, quarterback 14 it's a bit of a joke. He's gone a bit too far now. I mean, once he sees the field, he's a top 10 quarterback all day with that rushing upside. I hope that he gets a move away from the Cardinals. Hope maybe to my Buccaneers. Who knows where he's going to go? But he's a great quarterback, elite, top 5 or 6 potential. So at quarterback 14, I'll buy that all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. Kev, you in agreement?
Yeah, you've crushed this pick like you did last year with Brian Robinson, where we all laughed at you, and you proved to be right. So well done on the pick, Paul. I think in terms of Kyler, sort of anyone that's doing a productive struggle in the startups, he's a perfect guy to be going after. Yeah. Rebuilders need to be buying him like now, because when he gets healthy, his price is gone. So yeah, just heads up that your window's closing fast on Kyler.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Absolutely smashing it, Paul. And that brings us to the end of the show. And Paul, just wanted to thank you one more time for hopping onto the show and doing the Wheel of Death once more. It was a whole lot of fun. And please remind the audience before you go, what are you up to? Where can they find you?
You can find me on a Monday night on the Wildcard Rewind with Hannah and Lewis, and then you can also find me. I haven't written an article for ages, to be fair. I need to get back on that. I need to get back on the articles at 5 Yard Dynasty, and you can also find me on X. It's such a bad name, isn't it? At Paul_Picken, or catch me in one of the million leagues that I'm playing in this year. Also, Ali, I'm going to beat you in the FFC round.
Ooh, you got in there first.
Wow.
But yeah, thanks for having me on. That's a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to pitch it to you first for closing thoughts after shots being fired by Paul.
You had to get in there first. I was just going to say, so it's unfortunate that you had to lose first round of the FFCC. Again, but yeah, my team is definitely better than yours, and but it's been absolutely awesome having you on tonight, Paul. Really enjoyed it. I thought you were brilliant, considering you didn't see the show sheet. You came up with them really quick, and they're really great answers. So yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Yep. Kev, any final thoughts?
Yeah, just what an amazing guest. Perfect for the show. We love you. You've smashed it. You might win the wild card pick this year, I think, as well, with Murray. Great shout.
I came third last year.
Ooh. Not bad. Guys, thank you so much. Make sure you're following at the Fantasy Wildcard team, everybody on Twitter, and make sure you check us out on YouTube at Fantasy Wildcard Podcast Network. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks for joining. See you soon.